I'm Tom Schneider, Fire Chief of the Red Wing Fire Department. The presentation you're about to see provides an overview of the Red Wing Fire Department, its operations, its budgets, and compares the Red Wing Fire Department to the fire departments of other regional center communities. The idea for this presentation began during a 2011 City of Red Wing Budget workshop, where the mayor and city council members expressed a desire to study the delivery of fire and emergency medical services within the community as a potential area of savings. It's being shared with the citizens of Red Wing to help provide a basic understanding of the fire department operations and demonstrate the value the Red Wing Fire Department provides to the community. Beginning with the fire department's mission statement, the mission of the Red Wing Fire Department is to enhance the safety and security of the community by providing cost-effective protection of life and property through fire prevention, public education, fire suppression, and emergency medical care. The Red Wing Fire Department is often inaccurately referred to as a full-time or career fire department. Fire departments fall into one of three categories. Full-time or career departments employ 100% of their members in full-time paid positions. Volunteer departments employ predominantly volunteer members. Combination departments employ a combination of full-time and paid-on-call or volunteer members. The Red Wing Fire Department is a combination fire department. We have 25 full-time employees. All of them are cross-trained to perform both fire and emergency medical duties. Our firefighters are trained as Firefighter 1, Firefighter 2, hazmat operations, special rescue, paramedic, and other services. Some Red Wing firefighters also hold certifications as fire instructors, fire inspectors, fire investigators, specialize in plan review, and provide tactical emergency medicine. All of Red Wing's full-time firefighters are nationally registered paramedics. Because of this cross-training, our personnel can transition flawlessly between fire and emergency medicine operations to meet the needs of the community, and they do this on a daily basis. We're able to rob Peter to pay Paul, and rob Paul to pay Peter. In addition to our full-time employees, the Red Wing Fire Department has 25 paid-on-call firefighters. These firefighters are paged to all structure fires or other labor-intensive incidents. They're paged simultaneously with the duty crew and respond from their place of employment or their home. They too are certified as Firefighter 1, Firefighter 2, hazmat operations, and are also certified as first responders from the medical perspective. In addition to fire responses, paid-on-call firefighters respond to search and rescue incidents, wildland fires, or any type of incident that requires a rapidly deployable workforce. Paid-on-call firefighters are also trained to perform emergency worker decontamination in the event of a nuclear incident. The Red Wing Fire Department operates under two separate and distinct budgets. The ambulance division of the Red Wing Fire Department is funded as an enterprise fund. Enterprise funds function independently of tax revenue and are designed to operate as any private business. Ambulance operations have no direct taxpayer impact. Funding for ambulance operations is derived solely from fees for service. The people that use the ambulance pay for the ambulance service. Ambulance fees pay for all segments of ambulance operations, from buying basic first aid supplies like Band-Aids to buying the vehicles themselves, and this includes the required training for our personnel. Additionally, ambulance fees pay for 52% of the wages and benefits for all full-time personnel. In its simplest form, the ambulance division pays for 13 of the Red Wing Fire Department's 25 full-time employees. The fire division operates under the City of Red Wing General Fund. It does have a direct taxpayer impact. All segments of operations, from buying vehicles and repairing buildings to paying for equipment and training, is funded by the City of Red Wing General Fund. Additionally, the General Fund pays for the remaining 48% of wages and benefits for full-time employees and pays the wages for our paid-on-call firefighters. Again, in its simplest form, the General Fund pays for 12 of the Red Wing Fire Department's 25 full-time employees. In comparing the Red Wing Fire Department to other regional center cities, the cities of Albert Lea, Austin, Faribault, Hastings, Owatonna, and Winona were used. Like Red Wing, all of these cities have combination fire departments. The Apple Valley and Lakeville fire departments, both of which are classified as volunteer fire departments, were also included in the comparison. Of these cities, only Red Wing and Hastings operate fire-based advanced life support ambulance services. In comparing population sizes, the cities of Red Wing and Albert Lea are the smallest. In contrast, the cities of Apple Valley and Lakeville, both of which have volunteer fire departments, are the largest, with populations more than 3 times the size of Red Wing and double the size of the other cities. When comparing fire response areas, the areas served vary greatly, with a low of 14 square miles in Albert Lea to a high of 205 square miles in Owatonna. Some departments provide fire protection only within their city limits, while others provide services to neighboring townships. The Red Wing Fire Department has a fire response area somewhere in the middle, protecting 51 square miles. Red Wing and Hastings also have ambulance service areas. The Red Wing Fire Department serves a combined fire and EMS service area of approximately 260 square miles. As far as employees paid for out of the general fund, again by city, Albert Lea has 18 general fund employees associated with their fire department. 17 of those individuals are in fire department operations, 1 is a clerical position. Austin has 10.5 general fund employees, 10 of whom are in fire department operations, 1 is a part-time clerical position. Faribault has the same structure. Hastings has 16 full-time employees, 14 of which are in fire department operations, 2 in clerical. Owatonna, 10 employees, 9 in fire department operations, 1 in clerical. Winona, 21.5 employees, 21 of which are in fire department operations, 1 in clerical. Red Wing has 12 firefighters, 12 employees being funded out of the general fund, all 12 of which are in fire department operations. Apple Valley, a volunteer department, has 4 full-time employees, 3 of which are in fire department operations, 1 in a clerical position. In Lakeville, 4.6 employees, 3 in fire department operations, and 1.6 in clerical. All fire departments are overseen by a fire chief. Some departments also have assistant chiefs. The Hastings Fire Department, for example, has 1 assistant chief. The Winona Fire Department has 2. The Red Wing Fire Department does not have an assistant chief. Captains and commanders are the individuals responsible for overseeing the fire department's employees' day-to-day operations and emergency incidents. As you can see, Albert Lea, Austin, Faribault, Red Wing, Apple Valley, and Lakeville all have 3 frontline officers. Hastings is unique in that its frontline officers are all paid-on-call firefighters. Owatonna has 4 officers. Winona has 6 officers. As stated earlier, the City of Red Wing General Fund pays 48% of the wages and benefits for all full-time employees of the Red Wing Fire Department. The taxpayer impact for the wages and benefits of Red Wing's 3 fire captains is the equivalent of 1.4 employees. Full-time firefighters. Again, the numbers vary. Albert Lea has 12 firefighters. Austin and Faribault have 6. Hastings has 12. Owatonna has 4. Winona has 12. Red Wing has 18. Apple Valley and Lakeville don't have any full-time firefighters. Of Red Wing's 18 firefighters, the taxpayer impact due to our ambulance operations is the equivalent of 8.64 people. As you can see, the Red Wing Fire Department structure provides a larger workforce with similar impact to taxpayers. 40-hour personnel. In most instances, departments with 40-hour personnel, this is typically the fire marshal. In Red Wing's case, it's our fire marshal, our fire inspection specialist, and our fire training specialist. These are the individuals we call our power shifters. They cover their normal assigned duties, but also respond to fire and EMS calls during times of peak volume. This prevents the need to call back in off-duty personnel and incur overtime. Again, the taxpayer impact for the wages and benefits of the Red Wing Fire Department's 3 40-hour personnel is the equivalent of 1.4 employees. Duty shift staffing for combination fire departments also varies. Albert Lea has 5 people on a shift, Austin has 3, Faribault has 3, Hastings has 4, Owatonna has 2, Winona has 6, Red Wing has 7. As indicated earlier, Apple Valley and Lakeville don't employ full-time firefighters. However, due to a lack of available responders, Apple Valley recently began staffing one of their stations from 8 to 5 on weekdays, utilizing their paid-on-call firefighters. The tax impact for the wages and benefits of the Red Wing Fire Department's 7 duty shift firefighters is the equivalent of 3.36 employees. Again, the Red Wing Fire Department's structure provides a larger workforce with taxpayer impacts similar to those of other combination fire departments. Minimum staffing. Each of the departments has a minimum threshold at which they call back off-duty employees. In Albert Lea, it's 4. Austin, Faribault, Hastings, and Owatonna all go to 2. In Winona, their minimum staffing is 5. In Red Wing, our minimum staffing is 4. Apple Valley and Lakeville, again, have no minimum staffing because they're volunteer departments. The taxpayer equivalent for Red Wing's minimum staffing of 4 is 1.92 people. Significant in this is a fire department's ability to safely respond to a structure fire. An OSHA mandate, known as the 2-in, 2-out rule, requires that 2 firefighters be ready and available outside a structure anytime there are 2 people fighting a fire inside. A minimum staffing level of anything less than 4 essentially prohibits a fire department from making an offensive fire attack until additional personnel arrive on the scene. The Red Wing Fire Department structure allows it to be better prepared while remaining comparable to other cities. Staffing averages. This slide represents the average staffing of the communities surveyed. Fire chiefs, on average of the group surveyed, there's 1.5 per department. Red Wing has 1. The taxpayer impact of that individual is 0.48 of a person. Command staff, the average is 3.1. Red Wing has 3 with a taxpayer impact of 1.4 people. Firefighter impact, the average is 8.66. Red Wing has 18, but with a taxpayer impact of 8.64 individuals. 40-hour staffing, on average, there's 0.75 per department. Red Wing has 3 with a taxpayer impact equivalent of 1.4 people. Shift staffing, the average was 3.86. Red Wing has 7, again with a taxpayer impact of 3.36 people. Minimum staffing, on average 2.8. Red Wing's minimum staffing is 4 with a taxpayer impact equivalent of 1.92 people. Paid on call firefighters. In addition to full-time personnel, all of the combination departments listed have paid on call firefighters. Albert Lea has 18, Austin has 24, Faribault 23, Hastings 35 to 48, Owatonna 26, Winona 30, Red Wing currently has 25 paid on call firefighters. Apple Valley and Lakeville, now volunteer fire departments, have 75 and 90 people respectively. The larger population and broader demographic of these communities allows them to typically recruit adequate numbers of volunteer firefighters. Approximately 2 years ago, the Red Wing Fire Department began an intensive recruiting process for paid-on-call firefighters. At the time, the department had 15 vacant part-time firefighter positions. Approximately 40 people attended informational meetings. Of the 40, 23 submitted applications, and 15 met the department's minimum requirements. Of the 15, only 11 successfully completed the process and became paid-on-call firefighters. Salary and benefits. This slide represents the general fund contributions to fire departments to cover salary and benefits for their fire department employees. In Albert Lea, it's approximately $1.3 million. Austin and Faribault, approximately $900,000. Hastings, approximately $1.6 million. Owatonna, approximately $1 million. Winona, approximately $2 million. Red Wing, $1,048,000. Apple Valley, $1.2 million. Again, that's a volunteer department. And Lakeville, currently listed at $666,000. The figures for Apple Valley include a pension contribution for their volunteer firefighters. There may be a similar pension contribution in Lakeville, but that figure was not available. That is the reason for the question mark behind the Lakeville figure. When adding in salaries for paid-on-call firefighters, Albert Lea increases to $1.3 million, Austin, approximately $1 million, Faribault, approximately $1 million, Hastings, $1.7 million, Owatonna, approximately $1 million, Winona, a little over $2 million, Red Wing, $1,078,000, Apple Valley and Lakeville remain unchanged. When comparing costs of salary and benefit packages for fire department personnel, the group average is roughly $1.2 million. The salary and benefit package for the Red Wing Fire Department had a taxpayer impact of roughly $1,078,000 to the City of Red Wing's general fund in 2011. Some of the fire departments in this comparison respond to assist their local ambulance service. Others do not. Albert Lea, Austin, Hastings, and Owatonna fire departments do not perform EMS assists. Winona, on the other hand, assists their local ambulance service on all medical calls. Red Wing and Faribault fire departments respond, but only to select medical calls. In Red Wing, these are typically major medical calls involving severe injury or illness. However, a fire truck may respond with the ambulance in other instances when additional personnel are needed to safely address the incident or the needs of the patient. Apple Valley and Lakeville, again, volunteer departments also respond to major medical calls. In assembling the information for this fire services comparison, one item became quite apparent. Every community provides fire and emergency medical services differently, and every community does it right, because every community is unique. Some unique information shared by the Apple Valley and Lakeville volunteer fire departments include the need to maintain 70 to 95 paid-on-call firefighters. Their firefighters have no assigned schedules and are paged in when needed. At times, they simply take as many or as few as they can get. Mutual aid from neighboring communities is only minutes away and utilized regularly. Fire departments often respond automatically to incidents in adjacent communities to address shortages in available staffing. On average, they hire approximately 20 firefighters every 2 years due to resignations or retirements, which creates a continuous process of training and orientation. Austin, Minnesota, a combination department, shared some details about their EMS services. As I said, currently, they do not respond to EMS calls. They have a private ambulance service serving their community. That ambulance service staffs one ambulance 24 hours a day. The second ambulance, according to the Austin Fire Department, is approximately a 20-minute delay. Austin Fire Department has begun training their firefighters as EMT basics and are exploring the purchases of an ambulance, not to provide ambulance services, but to provide patient care while awaiting the arrival of that second ambulance. Hastings, Minnesota. When the Hastings Fire Department responds to a minor medical call, one medic responds in their ambulance. 2 off-duty personnel are also paged and respond directly to the scene. When responding to a major medical call, 2 medics respond in the ambulance and 1 additional off-duty responder is paged to the scene. The location of the incident dictates which off-duty personnel are paged based on their proximity to the incident. Repeatedly, I was told, "I know it sounds crazy, but it works for us." Personally, I'm not a gambler. I prefer to know who is responding, how they're going to get there, and when they will arrive. Hastings responds to fire calls in a similar manner. On an in-town structure fire, all personnel are paged in. Off-duty full-time personnel respond to the station, while paid-on-call personnel respond directly to the scene. In rural areas, 1 firefighter responds in their engine, and 1 firefighter responds in their tender or tanker truck. Off-duty personnel, including a chief, paid-on-call officers, and paid-on-call firefighters, respond directly to the scene. This type of response generates several additional concerns. On a regular basis, firefighters are killed in motor vehicle accidents, responding to or returning from emergency incidents. Most often, they're driving their personal vehicle. Occasionally, they are in fire department apparatus. Red Wing's paid-on-call firefighters respond directly to the station. They're instructed to obey all traffic laws, stopping at stop signs and signaling their turns. They are warned that they will not get a break from the Red Wing Police Department if they're stopped en route. As an added safety measure, Red Wing's second-out apparatus respond routine to emergency scenes, obeying all traffic laws, unless instructed otherwise by incident command. Eau Claire, Wisconsin wasn't part of the group we studied, but in speaking with their fire chief, I was made aware of some changes that they'd made recently. Eau Claire has provided ambulance services for the city of Eau Claire since 1975. In 2007, the Eau Claire Fire Department was facing a $300,000 budget cut, which meant eliminating personnel. Rather than eliminate personnel, they expanded their ambulance service to a regional area, generating additional revenue rather than cutting personnel. What used to function as 2 separate departments, a fire department and an EMS department under the fire department umbrella, they merged and now function as one. Their staff are cross-trained and flex between fire and EMS operations, and as the chief said, leveraging between each other during peak demands. They have evolved into what the Red Wing Fire Department has been for years. In 2008, Emergency Services Consulting completed a fire department and EMS master plan for the Red Wing Fire Department. This plan cost approximately $45,000. There was no preconceived outcome as to whether the Red Wing Fire Department should be modeled as a career department, a volunteer department, or a combination department when the Fire and EMS Master Plan was started. I can honestly say that many of us breathed a sigh of relief when the Master Plan recommended that our structure remain as a combination department. The Master Plan was developed to evaluate the fire department's current operational stability and any potential improvements and efficiencies that might be available. It was also designed to study development of operations in regards to future delivery of services for the foreseeable future. This is essentially a 20 to 30-year plan. Regarding staffing, the fire department's master plan listed 7 career firefighters at our main station, 3 staffing an engine, 2 staffing an ambulance, and 2 staffing a truck company or a ladder truck. Additionally, it suggested that paid-on-call personnel continue to respond as necessary to serve as additional personnel and respond in second-out apparatus as deemed appropriate by incident command. Currently, at Red Wings Fire Station, there are 7 people on duty, as stated earlier. Additionally, the master plan identifies the need for a second West Red Wing Fire Station. The study indicates that it would be staffed by 2 career firefighters, cross-staffing an engine and an ambulance, and an additional firefighter serving as a firefighter or driver of the engine or tender when the ambulance is on a call. When, not if this station is built, response times for fire and emergency medical services in the West Red Wing area will be reduced significantly. Fire department apparatus and personnel will be divided between the 2 stations. Existing resources will be reallocated in order to meet established response time standards. Utilization of paid-on-call firefighters will be modified to include scheduled shifts, allowing them to work as a team with full-time personnel performing station duties and responding to calls. The master plan in the long term also indicates a 3rd station in the Prairie Island community, staffed by 2 firefighters with potential assistance from a Treasure Island medic who is also cross-trained as a firefighter. Regarding paid-on-call firefighter staffing, the master plan suggests we develop a program to require and encourage station duty for paid-on-call firefighters. They would work side by side with career staff in routine operations and response capabilities. Again, this would occur in conjunction with the construction of the West Red Wing Fire Station. The master plan goes on to state that combination departments are arguably the fastest growing category of fire departments, and many previously all-volunteer departments are transitioning to the use of some full-time paid personnel. Again, other communities are migrating toward the fire department model that the Red Wing Fire Department has utilized for many years. In 2011, the City of Red Wing conducted a scientific survey. In that survey, they asked citizens if they would support a property tax increase to maintain fire protection and ambulance services within the community. Overall, 79% stated they would be very likely or somewhat likely to support such a property tax increase. Support for the fire department services remains strong regardless of gender, age, income level, and length of residency. The City of Red Wing's newly adopted strategic plan establishes a goal of developing proactive public safety initiatives that maintain the high level of safety in the community. The question then becomes, can the City of Red Wing utilize an all-volunteer or paid-on-call fire department and a private ambulance service to provide fire and emergency medical services in the community? The answer is yes, anything is possible. The next question is, can it be done and maintain the high level of safety and service currently provided within the community? The answer to that is no. I don't believe that it can. In summary, the Red Wing Fire Department underwent a study approximately 4 years ago. It clearly indicates a recommendation that the Red Wing Fire Department remain a combination department. A recent scientific survey overwhelmingly indicated support for the services provided by the Red Wing Fire Department. The City of Red Wing's strategic plan supports maintaining the high level of safety and services within the community. And last but not least, the tax impacts of the Red Wing Fire Department compare favorably with other regional combination departments and, surprisingly, many volunteer departments. Thank you for watching, and thank you for your support of the Red Wing Fire Department.